Welcome to day 19. The truth in plain sight. The English language is so magical that when we look at it from love, we can see the truth in plain sight. Simplify life down to a choice is the choice that we interpret the words. And they've made it so simple. So we're going to look at the story of the soul, the sun, and we're going to look at the words that they use. So first of all, let's start with the word soul. In Spanish, soul is the sun. S-O-L. The O in the middle is the soul. In that whole is wholeness, it's emptiness, it's hollow. The soul is everything. So S-O-L. Going on to the energy centers and the chakras, at the bottom, right at the start, is the root chakra, at the roots. So if we look at soul, S-O-L, the sun of God comes down into the body, and it starts in the roots, and every day is a new day. The sun and soul, replace them. You are the sun, you are the soul. So if we start the root chakra, when the sun rises every day, the soul rises. You, S-O-U-L, you rise. So if we start with I, it always starts from I. That's one of the teachings. I am. So let's put the I in the soul. S-O-I-L. You start in the soil. Every day is a new day in the soil, below ground, the roots, grounded, Mother Earth. And then we raise. And if we go up the root chakras, the next one is the sacred space. The sun shows itself. And I've been to a mountain in Hawaii, which I've explained before, and I was there for the sunrise. And I remember it was one of the only times where I got caught in awe. And everything around me, it was like a deafening silence. And everyone was just hooked on the sun. It was magical. There was no other interruptions when you're up that high. High King. Everything we see is a mirror of us, and it was magical. So for me, everyone talks about the sunsets. That sunrise above all the sunsets I've seen was the one that stayed with me. And it's that feeling. It was hollow, it was empty, it was pure. That's the soul. So on the soles of our feet, right at the bottom, imagine our soles are on the soil. And they give us shoes to wear with a sole on it. S-O-L-E. So connecting with earth, grounding. Put your heel in the earth, you heal with your soles. To do that, we have to remove our soul. S-O-L-E. So let's remove the E. Let the E go. Let the mind go. Let the E go. Then you have the soul. Then you in the soul. You is you. But with that you, I've wrapped it around us. S-O-U-L. We are the soul. All of us. Every person that we meet on this lifetime is an extension of us. A mirror of us. They're all our teachers. S-O-U-L. And as you rise up the body, to lighten up the body, when we reach the highest point of the body, 33 vertebrae. Christ, in the story, died on the cross at 33. So if we light up the body, where does the soul rise next? It crosses over the cross into the mind. Enlightenment. enlightened in mind. So when we're on this journey seeking to reach enlightenment, we get to be there every day. It's not just where some people can get to. The people that have got there is because they know how to be conscious, Christ conscious. So enlightenment is enlightened in mind. And as that sun, that soul rises up the body, it enlightens the mind. The highest point of the root chakra on the top of the head is then the crown. The crown is outside the body, a spiritual being having a human experience. Your spirit is now out of the body. What else is out of the body? Energy around us. God. When we're conscious, we create. That creation, that inspiration is through the word of God. Co-create with God, the Son of God. Soul, your son, you are God. You flip it round. God is your body, yourself is your soul. And you can change that perspective. You are the soul and God is up outside the body. You meet at the horizon. Mother Earth, Father Sky. And in the middle, Sun, horizon. It's a convergence. You meet in the middle, you meet at the core. So the words are in plain sight. When we go hiking, high king, you're up high, you are the king. Asking questions as king. Because when you ask a question, who answers? Your soul. God. God speaks within us. Our soul speaks within us. The Son of God is made in the image of God. Perfection. Divine. So I'm going to share a video which highlights that with a few images, and I put it together. And ever since my heart's opened up and my awareness for words, my perception was the English language was very deceptive, and I was always finding all the negative words, but intrigued of how clever it was, how they got away with that. However, they weren't aware of a lot of the words from love, the truth in plain sight, because they do not come from love. And the moment you do, you start seeing the clues everywhere. Enjoyment. Ment is the mind. En is in. Enjoy mind. The mind is at joy. Embodiment. Bring the mind inside the body. In body, mind. Empowerment. When you're in control, you have that choice. Your mind is powerful. Empower mind. So, instead of being selfless and always thinking of others, let's be self-full. Full of self. Soulful. Full of soul. It's magic. So, there will be a few other sessions on the words. And if we take things now literally, strip it right down. Every syllable is now, now, now. The truth is in plain sight. So being true to your word is being true to your soul. You start with the I, the soil. You let the ego, the soul. Then it's about you and us. S-O-U-L. You are the soul. What we put out, you will come back. I am the soul. Us, we are the soul. Soul is wholeness. Soul is everything. Within everything, that is God. That is creation. Always remember. So let me know what comes up for you on this. And I'm excited to share other words throughout the English language that allows us to relax, enjoy, and even more now, look out for the signs. Let's now come on to the Son and the Christ within. So we're going to go back for this picture because I think it does nicely. This was a great allegory for me to be able to explain what Christ consciousness is. Christ consciousness is within us because when we're conscious, it allows us to reach the Christed state. Every part of the Bible is instructions for us. It's an instruction book. And remember when I said everything that we see in this world is a mirror of us? Let's look at terms and conditions on an Apple iPhone and many other parts of technology. You get a booklet. Who's that booklet for? When you buy the stuff, who's that booklet for? For us to read. Who reads that booklet all the way through? Rarely anyone. Yet it shows you how to use this creation. The Bible is books of all loads of stories written through the man of God. And I'm going to come on to the whole part of this after this because it'll tie everything together. It's an instruction manual for us. And we're so intelligent by design. Like I said, our body does things that technology we've yet to even experience yet. We're learning about that there's a massive instruction manual and it keeps evolving all the time. Yet the Bible was one way how we explained the truth back then, and all the scriptures through words. We evolved into telling stories on pages, on paper, with pens, quails, and all sorts of like that. That was the way at the time. Now, the technology that's being built is effectively a technologicalized bit of machinery, which is a Bible without words. It's showing us how we can do things. It's teaching us ways to look at and observe stuff. So take that into consideration. And also then, the Son of God, Jesus Christ. A lot of people, for me, it doesn't make sense, this Jesus Christ character as a person. And I'm not dismissing that there wasn't a person, but the hold up for me was, well, there was other people on this plane as well. Why is it just Jesus? And Jesus is coming down. Where is he? He died a long time ago. Where is he? And people couldn't really explain it to, oh, he's going to come down. And let me explain the chakra system first, and then I'll start going on to the allegories, because it'll make a lot more sense. This is the spiritual side first. So the chakras, there's 7 energy centers in our body. And what's quite interesting when it comes to any sort of spiritual teachings or any teachings at all, and I like to use the examples of astrology as well. And people will tell you, oh, because of this, it means like this. So with these energy centers, they're different points in your body. And they say, well, when you're in your root chakra, it's because you're still stuck in fear and in the material world. And then when you're in the heart and you've got to reach all of them, it's like keys to your body. Yet all these different things people are telling you, and a lot of people will tell you similar things, is still unable to take as a full truth. And what happens is people will share all of this information and we're learning, yet their words are not resonating with us. Because we know it's their truth, we're searching for the way that they've described it and we never find it. So it sounds great or it sounds woo-woo because it comes from someone else. So the soul, let's go before meaning, the energy. I've now experienced this many times and I help people connect with their inner body. So I'm going to ask you all watching now, especially the people who don't meditate or anything, this is my interpretation of meditation. Close your eyes. That's it. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes for me. If you look at those points, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes for me because I really want you to try to feel in your body when I'm talking you through these energy centers. And we're going to use the names. And this is the way that I have now taken this. So if we go back to this part here, just to show you what I feel Christ consciousness is now. So we have the soul, which is the Son of God in God's creation. So let's call that God. And then at the mind, you have the choice. You have ego or soul, the yin and yang. You can choose the truth, the Son of God, or you can choose the ego, edging God out. It's one or the other. So you've got the whole truth, the mind, which is a choice, and then you've got the body. So when Christ comes down to save us, so what's the Son, the soul, Son of God, comes down and starts in our body. Sunrise. The soul rises up the body. And then when it gets to the mind, there's light now in the mind. Enlightenment. If you break down that word, en is in, light, in, mente, mind, light in mind. So the human experience now, my body is lit up. It's in flow. My mind now has to be still because the light's on in it, because my body's calm. So I'm still in the human experience. And then when I come out my crown, and where do you think the halo of the Jesus comes from? I'm now connected with the whole spirit. So the Son of God is the Christ comes down and the Christ rises. So watch this. No, it can't be. Okay, well, let's look at that even more then. So sunrise, what does it mean? It goes up. Where does it go up? In the form of the spinal column. When we rise all the way up, what age did Jesus die? 33. How many vertebrae are on our spine? 33. Right at the very top of our spine is then, watch this. You've got the body. So it's that again. So rises up here, gets to the top of the spine, which is by the head. Then it crosses over. It crosses over to the mind. Jesus died on the cross at 33. On 33 vertebrae, the light goes into your mind, enlightenment. And then you become one with the Creator. You co-create with God. So the soul, the sun rises within you, soul, you, up to the soul, wholeness, everything. IOU, all in one. That's the allegory. And if you even look at what happens when you reach Christ consciousness, you release chrism oil. I showed it on one of my last talks. Within our makeup, there's something called laminin. The lamb within, laminin. And in that, it's got a cross that binds the proteins together. All the words in plain sight. These are stories, they're allegories. And if you make sense of it, I'm reading it now. Jesus showed me the way, come down to save us. But yet, you're talking about a past, that's the mind. Let's start on each day. What shows us the way each day? It turns up all the time. Your soul, the sun. It rises, goes across the sky. You're told it's not moving, by the way. And then it sets. Sunrise, sun sets. It even says it in the words. But you're told, or we're told, sun don't move. So we follow the sun. The sun shows us the way. Every day is a new day. Look, every day is a new day. So every day, God and the Son of God comes down to save you. Every day. And when you're conscious, you have one of those good days, your breath, the Holy Spirit, pushes your energy up the body because you know you've got your awareness. And then when you're in awareness, it means you're in your soul. So coming back to this, so that's the allegory. You can call yourself a sinner. You can wait for Jesus to come and save you. How long are you waiting for? Wait into the time. Or every day you could know he's come down to save you. You just got to accept him into your life, which we're told. Accept Jesus into your life. And then when he died on the cross, the body, which is the physical, dies. Because now you're at one with God. Like I said, when you're in flow, my mind's not there. It's coming out of me. It flows out of me. So they're allegories. So what's this? And it'll make even more sense now. You remember when I said you start at the soil? So if the sun, let's get that sun up again. Copy. Paste. So the sun sets, soul set the mind, so the mind sets the body. A spiritual being having a human experience. The feelings inside your body is your soul. The body is the container to your feelings. It's the genie in the bottle. Whatever stays in your genie comes true. So your feelings, if they're in your body and you keep they're manifest. So the sun comes down every day. It starts at the root chakra. So in sun, let's go back to this again. SOL. Black. So the soul comes down into you, and it starts at the soil, the root chakra. Every morning for years, my stomach was always rumbling. And I used to waken up my experience and I'd label it, go, oh, I got a bad stomach. Oh, my stomach's really hurting. And everyone used to think, you must be eating too fast. You must be eating crap food all the time because you're always moaning about my stomach. I'm manifesting that by my words. Until I realized that the more in tune, and when I started fasting, I could feel my body work, like all these things going on. And I realized what happens. Every day the sun rises, the soul rises. Every day. Every day is a new day. I'm going to show you some scripture to match this. So you start from the body. Then the root chakra, and people, closing your eyes, if you've got them closed still, these energy points, because I was told all this stuff for years about what this means and what that, but I didn't know what it meant because it sounds nice. The moment I started going with my body, especially on cannabis oil, Rick Simpson, that was a great one to ignite your endocannabinoid system, everything you feel. And then I started paying attention to the names. What below ground, when it comes above ground, it reaches the sacral, the sacred place. That's where I felt my sun every morning. All the activity, it's come from below. And now the sacral, the sacred place is where my soul starts. Then it goes up to the next one, which is in between your belly button and your heart. It's called your solar plexus, solar. Inside our body is a whole solar system, and these are the planets, the illuminaries, the illuminated ones, Illuminati. If you go and find out now about the truth about Freemasons, they were the ascended masters, the enlightened ones, before the church got threatened by them. So it goes up to the solar plexus. So I always use mind, body, soul. The body is my stars, the space in my body. The mind is the moon, and all the different phases of the moon is my ego characters that I play. And I go around a whole circle and I always come back to my truth every time after a month. That's consistency, working at the mind. Keep going at it 30 days. And then my soul's every day. Every day I turn up with my truth. You got to work at life. Yes. Yeah, life's hard. Yeah, if you label it. If you're in your God space every day, oh my God. I say that word all the time now. It is, oh my God. And I get to do that every day. I get to share that every day. I feel in flow every day. My body's healing every day. That's God, people. Every day is a new day. So when we get lethargic, it's taking too long. No, you're putting your life on hold. Start living your life from your feelings first. And then that taking too long is part of the movie. And when you start seeing it from it, you're like, oh, wow, that makes sense now. So the soul, I put the you in you once it comes out, the soil. And now it's you and us. But for us to get up to there, we got to cross over. I think it's called the medulla bone as well. Cross over and enlightenment at the mind. So look, you've got your heart. And I realized that the big energy points that you can feel in your body is your heart and sometimes your head. But they say your third eye is decalcified and you can't really feel it as much unless you're more in tune. But the heart is so influenced by the mind that the heart's always going off all the time. We can't tune in. So you've got the heart. Each one of these people, and again, I could tell you all this, come through the meditation, you'll feel it. And their pulses. And then when you bring awareness to it, you go up and you're like, and you go up. That's your body. The amount of people, especially on cancer, when they get in tune with their body, they feel it. Can anyone take away your feelings? No, it can't, but you're feeling it. The moment you get still, all of a sudden you've got more reference points. If you feel any of them, any sort of, you're present straight away because you're in your body. Instantly, I'm present again. Oh, my mind's gone out, I'll bring myself, I'm present again. Then you've got the throat chakra. Then you've got the third eye. And then right at the top, your crown chakra. So people, the Lord, we say Lord as Jesus, but remember it's Christ. Christ is within us. Look at this. Christ, Christian. My dad's called Ian. Let's change his name to an M. Christ, I am. Words in plain sight. I am the Christ. Christ rises within me. And when you get to the top of the head, the crown, when we get again, we'll get this number out. 8. So we get to the crown. Look, a human experience. The spiritual being having a human experience raises up. Until it leaves the body, where is the crown? On the top of the head. You become the king. You are the royalty. The Lord. And I'm going to show you scripture to back all this up in a minute as well. And this is now my experience from the spiritual aspect, before words. It's just my experience, my feelings. Then in my head, I'm making sense of it. And then I look at words and I'm like, oh, that makes complete sense. Words are in plain sight. So the soul, the king, the knight is all there in our sight, out of our body. And you become one. Oneness. And what does a one look like? An eye. And then if you look, even the word gold, watch this. The gold is within you, because if you've got that light in there, gold, that little L looks like an eye. So we take the L out, you're God. The gold and the treasure is within you. All these kids' cartoon programs used to take you on a treasure adventure on a desert island in the middle of nowhere with all these scrolls. You're searching outside of yourself. The treasure's within you. Golden child. The Son of God, the God within you. And when you're out here, look, just even for logic, the spiritual being, the spirit is essence, is energy. So if it's out there and God is all energy, you're now one with God. If God made you in his image, then how can you be a sinner? Because God says, why would God make a sinner? Does that make sense? So when it's heaven and hell, we're not going anywhere. You get to heaven now, because when you're in that space, your body feels bliss. There's a meditation done that takes you to heaven. You feel it in your body, heaven on earth. What is the earth? The sun is the soul. The mind is the moon, and the earth is your body. The vessel is your ship. A partnership. You're in partner with your ship, with your vessel. You take ownership. You're the owner. On Judgment Day, you're the judge, and you judge the mind with the choice. And then you're in heaven, in your body. Can you see every time it's all in? And how can you argue with this? The English language, English, angels. In Brazil, I never understood, why do they call England a different name? My name's Harry, but they would call me Jill. That's like the equivalent. My name's Harry though. Why are you calling it Angleterra? Angel terrain. English is the language of angels because it's 5D. It gives us a choice. We do not have to be caught in the past. We don't have to be saying the negative as a structured. We can say it slightly differently. Other languages limitation. Why is English the most successful countries and the most richest countries? Because we use language in our favor. And when we know the truth, our word is the law. I know I can roam the land as freely as I want. Common ground for common people. Common law is common sense. Everything now about this, when you look at language from love, it's all there. And you'll see on some of my meditations, I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize that. And it gives you a whole field all the time.